What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. We are live. We are here. We love to do it. We've got UFC San Diego, Vera versus Cruz. Alright, so as always, like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. I love you guys that are following. I love you guys that are dropping the likes and comments. It means the world to me. So please keep doing it. It means a lot. Let's hear the picks. Alright, so first up, we've got our parlay. We've got Hill versus Godinez, and we've got Meerschaert versus Bruno Silva. So we've got Godinez to win, and Bruno Silva and Gerald Meerschaert to not go the distance. So this one's pretty easy. I've got a little bit more on Hill later on anyway, or Hill and Godinez, so I'll explain that later. But Gerald Meerschaert versus Bruno Silva, it's pretty easy. 78 fights, 10 decisions. It's like 10%, 12% of fights go to decision. I think this is a bit of a no-brainer. Bruno packs that power. Gerald's got that sub threat. Bruno's lost 5 fights via sub. Gerald's been knocked out about 5 times, a couple of times in his last couple. So either way, someone's getting knocked out in the first round or someone's getting subbed in the first round. Also, wouldn't blame you if you were playing fight doesn't reach the second round. But just with this one, we're going to play it pretty safe, and we're going to go fight doesn't go the distance. All right, parlayed with Godinez to get the W. Angela Hill sucks. That's about it. All right, so also on that, we've got our next fight, or same fight, Angela Hill versus Lupita Godinez. So this is pretty easy. Unless Angela Hill has suddenly become Khabib in the last 6 months since she fought, she's going to get beaten the fuck up here. She sucks. Angela Hill is 13-12 for a reason. I don't care about the split decisions. There is a reason she is 13-12. She sucks. She's terrible. She's going to lose this fight. I think it's going to be 6-fight losing streak. She will not be in the UFC anymore. Mark my words. She won't be in the UFC. Lupita coming off a pretty good fight in her last fight. She had about 7 takedowns, tons of ground control. Should have got the sub, but didn't, unfortunately. That's just the way that it goes. I think inside the distance is probably the best value play here for Godinez. I think this decision prop is like minus 130, which is like, there's nothing there. That's crap. So what we've got here, this play, we've got 5 units on Godinez just to win at minus 333 or $1.30. Now, I know everyone says, oh, it's in shock price, oh, it's no value. Yeah, there's value at any price. She's going to make her look like minus 1,000. She's going to destroy Angela Hill. She sucks. All right, so moving on. So Devin Clark is our next fight. Devin Clark versus V Murzakanov. So this is pretty not easy, but it's just a bit of a what's the word? Like a bit of a fade. Sorry, bit of a fade on Murzakanov. He's not too bad. He's an okay fighter. He's got a really good left hand. Well, he's got decent hands. His left hand just cracks people. But yeah, I didn't really think he looked very good in his last fight. Like Devin Clark's like a bit of a veteran. He's all right. He's 7-6 in the UFC. Decent fighter, but I don't think Azamat's that much better than him, especially at that price. We saw how bad Azamat was gassing out in his last fight. Like he was losing that fight. It was 2018 in his last fight until he got not lucky, but he got the flying knee, knocked him out, and then that sort of won him the fight, I guess. Obviously, no shit. But yeah, it didn't really look good. He gassed really bad. First and second round, there was a complete difference between the two fighters, or between the two in 2 rounds. He really didn't look very good. So you've got Devin Clark money line 1.5 units at plus 135 or $2.35, and then we've got Clark decision 0.75 units at plus 300 or $4. Just think that's a no-brainer. If he can get out of the first round, I feel like he's going to win a decision. I think Azamat's quite hard to knock out, but I also think that if he doesn't get Clark in the first round, then he's probably going to lose. So it's honestly a 50-50 fight, really, is how I'm playing it. So at that plus 135, I think there's a lot of value in that line. Next up, we've got Osbourne versus Tyson Nam. So Ode's coming off a pretty quick turnaround against Adeshev, and Nam is coming off an 18-month layoff off an ACL tear. So first thing I want to say about this one is, obviously with that ACL tear, I've seen like a few different things, and people are like, oh, he's going to be terrible, he's going to come back and look like shit because ACL. But like, I mean, my background, I'm a sports scientist by trade. That's my background. And, by the way they do the surgery these days, he's had a long layoff, which is plenty of time to recover. It usually takes about 12 months for a full recovery. I'm assuming that he's had decent rehab if he's going through the PI. He's probably had a good rehab during his recovery. And he's more than likely going to come back fine. I mean, obviously there is the small cases where it doesn't happen, but most people, if they do the rehab properly, they have a decent surgery, they're fine when they come back. So he's not just going to come back like some absolute fucking scrub unless something's gone wrong. But yeah, so just to get that off my chest first. So he absorbs 5.69 strikes a minute. And, that's obviously a lot to absorb. And he does get hit quite a lot. He's got KO power, don't get me wrong, but that's the only way that he's going to win. He's got issues dealing with good strikers before, where he's just absorbed a lot of strikes, and he couldn't quite get he's never been a volume guy, and he's never been able to get the volume going against anyone. And, Ode Osbourne's a decent striker. He's got decent volume. He's going to have a nice reach advantage of, I think it's 5 inches, which is, it's a decent reach advantage, especially in a striking battle. And that'll help. I think that'll help Ode win the fight. Nam hasn't been knocked out for 9 years, and that was against Marlon Moraes, and it was also upper weight class as well. And that's like prime Marlon Moraes 9 years ago, in his absolute prime, just beating everyone. So yeah, Nam's pretty durable, I think, and I don't think, unless he's suddenly become a volume fighter, he's suddenly changed the way that he fights. I don't see that happening. And I mean, when does it ever happen? He's 36. Like, you're set in your ways. So yeah, we've got Osbourne to win 2.5 units at minus 244 or $1.41, and then we've got you 1 unit on the decision at plus 210 or $3.10. Next up, we've got David Onama versus Nate Landwehr. So Nate's coming off that win against Ludovic Klein, and Onama off that short notice victory over Garrett Armfield, who was the short notice opponent. So Klein's 2-2 in the UFC. He's been finished twice in both of his losses, and even Klein had him rocked in that fight pretty bad in the first round. I don't think Landwehr is particularly any good. He's just a bit of a low IQ fighter, in my opinion. I don't think he's particularly smart when he fights. His body's super open for shots. He keeps his hands really high, and I think if Onama's got half a brain cell, he's going to just go to the body really early with kicks, hooks, just to the body early, and then set up the headshots later on. In the fight, I think if he tries to walk Onama down, I don't think his pressure's that great. I've seen a few people talking about how his pressure's amazing, but not really, and he just gets hit really bad too. I think, if he just tries to, walk him down, he's just going to get KO'd pretty easily. Onama's got good striking. He's fought a decent level of opponent. I think, Onama's win condition here is going to be the KO. So I think that's how we're going to play him. So we're going to play him inside the distance, obviously, just in case for the sub. But that's at minus 105 or $1.95. He's never gone to a decision in a win, and I don't think that's going to start now, especially with a stupid-ass opponent like Nate Landwehr. So I really think that playing his inside the distance is basically like playing his money line, and if I can get him at minus 105, I'm obviously going to play that. I just don't see any other way that he's going to fight Nate Landwehr. I don't see any other way that he's going to win. Next up, and last one of the fights of the night, and also last of our plays. Obviously, it's a pretty short card. It's a pretty gross card. There's not a lot of great fights for betting or just to watch. So we've kept it pretty short. So next up, obviously, Chito Vera versus Dominic Cruz. I think this is going to be a pretty good fight. It's a 5-rounder, so we know how Chito starts slow, loses the first round. So I wouldn't blame you if you bet him after the first round. Starts slow, and then he builds into the fight. Now, we know what Dom brings. He's been around forever, even though he's only got 10 fights in the UFC, but he's been around forever. We know that his skills in the movement, his wrestling's not too bad. He has a bit of trouble keeping people down, but it's his movement, his I guess, unpredictability in the way that he moves in and out. And I think, he's good. He's one of the greatest. He'll be the future Hall of Famer, ex-bantamweight title holder, WEC and UFC. But I really don't see how he's going to beat Chito here. I think Chito hits, 5 times as hard. No, not 5 times as hard, but hits twice as hard as Dom. He is faster. He's quicker. I think that he takes shots way better than Dom does. Dom got dropped pretty badly against Pedro Munoz. And I think if Pedro was a bit more of a volume fighter and maybe was a bit younger, he probably would have finished him, but he's also 36 as well, or 35, 36. Marlon's going into his prime, or Cheeto's going into his prime. He's 29. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He's just destroyed Rob Font in his last fight. That was bad. Just fucked him up. And I don't know if he's going to do it here, but I don't see how Dom wins this. Like, unless he can hold him down every single round, I just don't think that he can. I think he's had a bit of trouble holding people down in the past, and I really think Cheeto is going to be able to pop back up, even if he does get him down, and he's just going to be able to take those shots, and he's going to give Dom his absolute best. And I think he's going to chew him up with the kicks and the punches. And I think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be a bad one. So, like we've seen lately, like those veterans, RDA, Luque, Tony Ferguson, they're like, moving on to the next generation now. And I don't think Dom's going to get him. I don't think Dom's going to beat him this time. I think that Vera's going to win. So we've got Cheeto 6 units at -182 or $1.55. And then we've got Cheeto inside the distance 1 unit at +200 or $3. I think that the inside the distance isn't completely out of the question. I think that looking at what he did to Rob Font, he almost finished him like 3 times in that fight and definitely could have. I think he's going to land at least maybe 2 or 3 really big shots on Dom, and he's going to drop him. Dom's going to have to fight the absolute perfect fight. He's not going to be able to get hit with any of his power punches. He's going to have to move perfectly. He's going to have to hold him down. Just over 5 rounds, I just don't see how that's going to happen. Maybe in a 3-rounder. But I can't see that happening here. So, I've got Cheeto to win here. I think it's going to be pretty convincing. So, look, that's our picks for the week. Just a couple this week, nothing too crazy. We're going to go big at UFC 278. We've already got some picks up. Go check them out on the Bet MMA Tips page. Follow me there. Follow me on YouTube. Like the video. Let me know if you want to see anything else. If you want to see a full card breakdown of 280, 278 or San Diego, let me know in the comments. Send me a message. All right, I'd love to do that for you guys. All done. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.